Today we'll be taking a look at 10 expensive LEGO Star Wars Sith minifigures that you may own. Let's talk about it. So guys, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 10 expensive Sith minifigures that you may own. I did the Jedi one 2 weeks ago, so I wanted to kind of do the opposite of it and look at Sith minifigures. Personally, what I classify as a Sith minifigure in today's video is realistically any dark side user that uses a red lightsaber. So, we're not going to be having like General Grievous on here, but pretty much anyone else that is a subjective force wielder, bad guy in the Star Wars universe can be on this list. And before I start, guys, as always, I want to say all prices in this video are based off of bricklink.com and on the USA market. I personally live in the USA, and a lot of my demographic does also. So just to try to keep it coherent and consistent amongst all my videos, that is what I base these prices off of. So without further ado, guys, let's get into number 10. Alright guys, so starting off with number 10, we have Asajj Ventress right here with the skirt piece from the 2008 Republic gunship. So this one right here, a very nostalgic minifigure in my opinion. This was a very classy minifigure back in 2008, a very classic one because a lot of people have the gunship, a lot of people wanted the gunship, and right now she's going for about $20 used and about $30 new. So realistically, not too bad of a price, I'll be honest. I don't actually have this minifigure since I never had the 2008 gunship growing up, and I never bought her since. So I'm not gonna lie, I might actually, before I upload this video, go on there and buy the cheapest one, that's new condition for about 30 bucks, since I think that's a fantastic deal. I think Asajj Ventress is a very underrated Star Wars character to begin with, and this one is a very good representation of her, and that skirt piece is very cool also, something that LEGO does not do, definitely not anymore, and not even too much back then. So there's number 10, guys. Alright, next up, guys, we got the Palpatine's Arrest Palpatine right here. So this one right here, I've always said Palpatine's Arrest is a beautiful set. I like the concept itself. All the minifigures are absolutely fantastic, great versions of them, and the Palpatine's Arrest Chancellor Palpatine is going for about $65 used right now and about $75 new. So this is a set right here that I think in the grand scheme of things, though, getting a complete new sealed copy of the actual Palpatine's Arrest is probably the cheaper alternative than buying a bunch of new condition minifigures out of that set, since all the minifigures there are worth, upwards to $50 to $100 each. So this one right here, beautiful minifigure, great representation of Palpatine, and there's number 9, guys. Alright, next up, guys, we have the newest version of the Flesh Count Dooku that came out in 2013, and right now, of course, with Tales of the Jedi coming out, probably, spiked him up a little bit. I know for a while there, he was pretty much classified as like a $100 minifigure, so right now, he's going for about $80 used and about $125 new. I feel like part of the reason why he didn't go up too much in price was, of course, already a pretty expensive minifigure. And when you compare, the LEGO version to the actual one in Tales of the Jedi, of course, the LEGO one is an older version, white hair based off Episode 2. And, of course, all the ones that we saw in Tales of the Jedi, of course, are younger versions of them. So, nonetheless, a beautiful minifigure. We need a new Count Dooku, and I think Tales of the Jedi right here is a prime candidate to give us a younger Dooku, you know what I mean? And for what it's worth at that point, if you want, variety, you can get the new Tales of the Jedi Dooku, and then go back and still buy that 2013 Episode 2 one, which I think is basically as good as you're ever going to get. Maybe give us some arm printing, leg printing, but for what it's worth, they really knocked it out of the park with this minifigure. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, next up, guys, we got a big boy here, but not the biggest one on the list. We have Darth Malgus. So this guy right here was kind of underrated for a long time there. Came out in 2012, and he was only fetching about $70 to $100 for a while there. But then I forgot exactly what it was. Was it the new Knights of the Old Republic? Like, weren't they like re-releasing it or like updating it and putting it back on PC or whatever? I don't know. I don't play those games. I never have. But nonetheless, very cool minifigure. Very awesome character to begin with, and he's right now going for about $160 used and roughly $225 to $250 new. And again, guys, as always, used condition minifigures. I always am just basing it off of no cracks, no dings, no scratches. So of course, Darth Malgus himself, if you don't mind if there's a crack on his arm or a bite mark on his leg, you guys can get him for roughly $100, $120. But if you guys want a solid condition used one, you'll be paying about $150 to $170. So nonetheless, very cool minifigure. Not the most expensive one on the list though. And, one that I wish I had, and I bought it before it was too late. But let's move on to the next one. Alright, next up, guys, moving on to genuinely probably my favorite one on this list right here. We have the shirtless Darth Maul poly bag. So this one right here came out in 2012. And actually, I'm curious, guys, leave a comment down below if you guys know exactly how this minifigure was given out. Because thinking back, I can't recall offhand. Was it a LEGO store promo, or was it a Toys R Us promo? I believe it was maybe a Toys R Us promo, but if you guys know for sure how it was given out, leave it down below. This one right here, a fan favorite of mine. I've got a open one that I got back in the day, and also 2 sealed ones right now. And, used out of the poly bag right now is about $40. So the new in the poly bag is roughly $50 to $60. So definitely it's gone up a little bit. not as expensive as kind of you would think. You know, back in a couple months ago, I got my second one, and when I was looking at the prices of him, he was only like 35 bucks, but now he's up to about 50, 60 bucks, which, you know, I personally don't want every minifigure to be too expensive, but I think if anything, this minifigure is completely worth that $50, $60. I mean, this is a beautiful minifigure. I love Darth Maul, something that, you know, I'm very surprised LEGO ever did to begin with. And I think the only thing, you know, maybe this guy could have used, just put on some, you know, leg printing. But at that point, if you guys really want to, you know, take him out of the poly bag, display him, maybe just put on a newer Darth Maul, you know, put on his legs on this, you know, shirtless one, and it'll probably be even better of a minifigure. But there's that, guys. Let's move on to the halfway point with the expensive one. All right, guys, next up, we have probably everyone's fan favorite on this list right here. We have Darth Revan. So, 2014 May 4th promo. And it just goes to show, guys, I mean, look at those promos we got back in the day. I mean, Darth Revan, of all things. I mean, literally. And back in the day, guys, I'll be first one to say, I had a whole bunch of these guys. You know, back then, you know, of course, he wasn't like, you know, this price he is now, but he was definitely a sought-after minifigure, very cool. You know, May 4th, you know, every, you know, Star Wars fan was buying Star Wars anyway, so it's like, why not, you know, just try to get as many as you can. So, at one point, he was actually at Brick World that year, too. If you guys remember, if you guys went to Brick World that year, the LEGO group had a booth there, and they were also giving out, you know, Darth Revans for, I think it was as cheap as like $35 for, you know, every $35 Star Wars purchase, you got one. So, I ended up with like 8 or 9 of them. Back in the day, though, guys, it just goes to show, I was selling them for like 40 bucks, and I was happy. But right now, they're going for about $200 out of the poly bag, and roughly $250 to $300 in the poly bag. So, you know, LEGO basically gave us like $300 worth of, you know, minifigure. You know, sure, 8 years ago, you know, sure, you know, return on investment, probably not the greatest, but again, but a free item now that is worth like $250 to $300. Definitely crazy. I'm still happy that I've got one open one myself and 2 sealed ones. I'm very proud of that. But let's move on, guys, to the next one, which is actually the most expensive one on this list. All right, guys, moving into the 4th spot right here, we actually have Chrome Darth Vader. So right here, guys, he's going for about $300 used and $450 new. So basically, how you guys were able to get this guy back in the day was, I believe it was either 5,000 or 10,000 of them were made, and they were given out in a randomly selected 2009 Star Wars set. So I was very fortunate. I actually got one of these back in the day, 2009 Assassin's Droid Battle Pack. My cousin, I was down in Georgia. My cousin's like, you know, 12 years older than me, I think. And, you know, I, at that time was, what, like 8 years old. She was like 20 or 21. She actually bought me a Assassin's Droid Battle Pack since she knew I was kind of getting into LEGO. She bought me one before I left. I cracked it open on her living room floor, and Chrome Darth Vader in there. Of course, me back in the day, I opened it up right away. I built Chrome Vader. Luckily for what it's worth, though, even young me, I was able to keep mine in very nice condition. It's still, you know, completely used condition, of course, you know, not perfect, but right now in the past like 2 years, he's been in a nice little display case. And actually, guys, again, I'll promote this here. I hate to give you guys a date. I want to stick to my word. I want to say this weekend or next weekend. I really do. You know, believe me, I want to open this up. I'm waiting for the right time. I want to get back in the stream things. I want to make sure, you know, I can have a couple people there. I want to make sure it's a good time. I want to get hype around it, but I will be opening up, I believe it's 8 or 9 more Assassin. I don't even, at this point, it's been so long since I bought them, I don't even know if it was 8 or 9 of the package, but 8 or 9 Assassin's Droid Battle Packs, a brand new sealed, unweighed, out of a sealed Lego carton. I'll be cracking those open on live stream, and hoping to get another Chrome Vader or 2 in there. So, coming very soon on the channel, of course, by the end of the year, if anything, late November, early December, but I want to do it as soon as possible. But a little promo there, guys. Stay tuned to the channel for that. Probably my second live stream I do from now will be that, guys. But nonetheless, guys, let's move on to the top 3. All right, guys, moving into 3rd place right here, which is a minifigure that is probably not selling for this price anymore, I'll be honest, but he's still sitting around that price on the market, being the old 5th Brother Inquisitor. So, of course, guys, when the Kenobi trailer came out, this guy kind of blew up. You know, he went from about a $60 minifigure to about a $150 minifigure, and, you know, he settled down a little bit. You know, again, the sell-through rate on this guy right now is probably next to nothing, but he's still going for about $80 used and roughly $100 new. Of course, there's a new 5th Brother out right now. I personally like the old one a lot better. I'm glad I have the old one. I only paid a little bit more than what he's going for right now. Because honestly, in my opinion, you know, 6 months ago, I was not too sure they were going to make another 5th Brother. You know, Grand Inquisitor, I feel like it was, you know, an obvious one, but 5th Brother, of course, they made a new one. Older one went down in price a little bit, but, you know, again, I personally will always feel like the older one's better. You know, this guy will probably only continue to go down a little bit, maybe another 10 or 20 bucks. But, of course, once the new 5th Brother retires and, you know, goes up in value, this one will, of course, be able to hold up that value, too. And I think at one point, probably maybe 3-4 years down the line from now, I think probably both 5th Brothers will probably sit around that same price of maybe 75 bucks each. But let's move on to the second one, guys. All right, guys, moving on to number 2 right here. We probably have the most obscure minifigure on the list. We have the Sith Warrior right here. Came on the 2013 Old Republic set. And this is a beautiful minifigure. You know, one that, again, a lot of people people probably wish they could have an army of. Back in the day, you know, this set came out right around when those Old Republic cinematic trailers were coming out, and a lot of people wanted, you know, literally 100 Sith to go up against Jedi. And you know, this price right now it's going for probably not possible, but it's going for about $40 used and roughly $60 new. You know, very cool minifigure. I personally have my one I got from the set. I probably will never get any more. At this point, it's probably just cheaper to make your own, you know, custom Sith warriors. But right now, guys, about $50 average for this guy, not too bad, and a very cool minifigure. Let's move on to number one, guys. All right, so moving on to number one, guys, pretty disappointing one, but like you guys know, I kind of like putting some of the higher end ones kind of mixed throughout the video. I don't like just doing, you know, 10 through 1, since a lot of people just skip to the first one then. But number one right here, guys, nothing too crazy, but we have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So, in my opinion, the best looking Kylo Ren they've ever made. You know, I think Kylo Ren is a fine character, as bad as the sequels were. I have nothing wrong with Kylo Ren. This one right here, which is, again, probably subjectively the best one, Supreme Leader one, is going for about $20 either way. You know, kind of a brand new minifigure, not too much room to really go up in value yet. Again, the sequels people don't really care about, you know, the mass majority. But going for about, yeah, like I said, $20 used, $20 new at that. Yeah, of course, at that point, it's probably just better to get a new one, you know, get the cape, you know, and the sealed cardboard and everything. But nonetheless, guys, there's the entire list, so let's close off the video. Alright guys, so as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoy making these. I took about a 2-week break off from this series. I was just kind of getting a little burnt out from this series. I could probably tell you guys were a little bit too, but I feel like this one was a pretty good one. Honestly, a lot of cool minifigures on this list. Really no bad ones. I mean, on this list, I think every single one is probably in my top 50 LEGO Star Wars minifigures ever. And there's literally, what, like 1,300 now. So all these minifigures are beautiful. I recommend picking up that Asajj Ventress at that price. I think that's a steal. Supreme Leader Kylo, I think at that price is a steal. Shirtless Maul, I also think is a steal at that price. And yeah, leave a thought down below, guys. What do you guys think about these minifigures? Do you guys own any of these? And without further ado, guys, that's all for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for see you guys later. Bye, guys, and stay safe.